I had been a casual lover of music for the longest time during my adult life when a lucky accident happened. Some 15 years ago, as I said, the CD changer in my stereo microsystem suddenly broke down, and I wrote a friend of mine, Peter Morrison, a former surfer turned English professor in Southern California, whom I knew to be an audiophile, asking for advice about getting a new CD changer to replace it. I'd just come back from Italy, where I heard opera performances at La Scala that were life-changing. They were so grand and beautiful. The magnificent first act of Puccini's La Bohème, about struggling artists in 19th century Paris, had completely changed my attitudes about poetry and music. I suddenly could not do without more of this remarkable art form in my life. To me, a compelling blend of grand music, romantic poetry, and high melodrama. But living in a small town in Oregon, I had no regular access to the grand halls of the American metropolises, let alone La Scala. So, I resolved to build my small collection of CDs to include as much from Italian opera as I could, and listen to them every day, storing up capacities for romance, melodrama, and music myself. Here my broken changer thwarted me. Supposedly capable of loading 3 CDs and then playing them back in order, it rattled and hummed and then stopped working completely one day, clattering to a halt, eating CDs of the Puccini, Verdi, and Rossini operas I'd loaded into it. To replace it, once I extracted my recordings, I was thinking of a $200 or $300 carousel-type unit, maybe a Sony, like one I'd seen at another friend's place in Santa Fe. It could take up to 5 CDs in a revolving tray that spun out of a sleek black casing to load, then slowly retracted like a sleepy dragon before playback. But Peter's answer was for me to consider a single-disc CD player, which was only the preface to a long email essay about audio components and audio systems in general that, after my incessant questioning, he subsequently sent me. This, along with my newfound passion for opera, opened up an entirely new world of music and sound reproduction I hadn't been aware existed. What started out as merely a wish to hear La Bohème and La Traviata playing daily on a stereo in my living room has morphed into another passion, not only for music and its great archive, but also for audio equipment and what each piece of it could do to bring me closer to what I thought I wanted to hear. I say, what I thought I wanted to hear, as this has changed over my time in this pursuit years long now. As my listening acquired more focus and expertise, my ear successively asking first for more romance and warmth, then refinement and tonal purity, then things audiophiles call sound staging, air, and bloom. I'd identify different components I thought would help me in these pursuits, rapidly changing equipment throughout my first year in the quest, thirsty to hear more and more nuances, reach grander heights, and have more powerful and inspiring musical experiences through an obsessive refinement of my audio gear. I'd want a system capable of reproducing string and timpani attacks in Beethoven's Eroica Symphony, then one of clarity and timbral richness in the 40-plus choral voices of Spamen Allium by Thomas Tallis, and then another of great dynamic range and separation of voices, both operatic and choral, and instruments in Mozart's Mass in C minor. These are not easy tasks for any one system. Ranging across musical types and performances becomes one of the challenges in the hobby, inspiring a seemingly unending quest for the right sound. The perfect sound. The pastime took on a life of its own, giving me more to know and tweak as I tried to dial in the sound I was after. Not a stable thing, as I said, but one that shifted as I learned that many kinds of sonic representation were considered more colorations, or even caricatures of sound, than actually realistic. What I found was that each type of system had its own vocabulary through which it constructed music from these shorter pieces of sonic communication, and that its acoustic representation of a recording could, in fact, influence and even school the listener's ear to accept its particular style of representation, as opposed to getting it right, which is to say, matching the original master tape's capture of the live.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.